Live from MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Esther Lynn welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. Happy Thursday to us all. Hope you're all having a fantastic week. Thank you for joining us. Q&A edition of the show. We had some scheduling stuff mixed around, so we decided let's just have some fun with the MMA fighting community. And joining me to answer your questions and discuss this wacky world of mixed martial arts, producer extraordinaire, the baddest dash in all of MMA, dare I say maybe the best shooter of golf content in the world today, the one and only Casey Leiden. Where is he? There he is. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good to be here. How's my face look? I took on Memorial Day. I went sparring and got beat up a bit, so I got no, still puffy on this side, but gotta work on my defense, but I'm good. Let's talk mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts. MMA. All right. Well, it's been kind of a weird time because we're not coming off of a card that happened the previous week. We do have a Apex card coming up on Saturday with a high stakes main event between Maycee Barber and Erin Blanchfield. I love the Mateusz Gamrot Ludovit Klein fight. Not a whole bunch else to love on this card after that. I mean, the Maycee Chiasson Ketlin Vieira fight's relevant and matters, but yeah, Apex card and MMA.
Yeah, it's Jordan. It's a card. It's
card that's happening.
It's literally a card. Yeah.
It is a card that is happening, and we will watch.
Dude,
we will,
I'm on Tapology right now, and the fight poster, dude, Blanchfield versus Barb, dude. They didn't even try that poster, like the way the text is laid out.
God.
It's insane.
Dude, that's tough scenes.
That's so bad.
Just take that part of the middle out and just leave it as is.
That's literally maybe the worst graphic design I've ever seen on a fight poster. Not even a UFC poster. That is, check it out, Tapology. The fight poster it's the official fight poster. It is wild.
Tough scenes out there in graphic design land for the UFC. Yeah. That was just all right. We gotta. Aiden's about to go live on Instagram. Just get this done in the next 10 minutes.
All right. But yeah, great main event. Yeah, should be
good
high
co-main.
Stakes. Yeah, good go. You like the co-main? I mean, Gamrot. I mean,
I do.
It's like, this is the fight for Gamrot, or is this just a fight that's interesting?
It's interesting. It's not the fight for Gamrot, but I spoke with Mr. Gamrot yesterday, as a matter of fact. So that interview will be coming soon to MMAfighting.com. Great website. He explains why he took this fight, and basically it's either wait for a ranked guy or just fight and stay active, and I want to stay active. So they offered me Klein, I took it, and here we are.
Yeah,
Klein's on 7 in a row, man.
Wow, that's a sneaky 7. I mean, let me look at that.
Yeah.
He's not ranked, right? Is he ranked
No.
on anyone's? Roosevelt Roberts. Oh, yeah, he's been out for. Okay, yeah.
I mean, the wins aren't spectacular. Devontae Smith was a good win at the time. Mason Jones obviously aged pretty decently. He had the draw with Jai Herbert. The Ignacio Bahamondes win is aged beautifully. And then, AJ Cunningham, he's supposed to fight Joel Alvarez on that card, and then gets AJ Cunningham on a few days' notice. Beats Thiago Moises. That's a good win.
Yeah.
And then Roosevelt Roberts, but he was supposed to fight somebody else. So, sneaky good win streak.
Yeah. And I had a lot of high expectations for Klein when he originally got signed with the promotion. Very exciting guy, but, had his ups and downs. But, it's a fight. It's a good fight. It's Gamrot, too high level, too good lightweight. So it's good co-main event. Okay, you're right. Good main event.
That's a good fight.
It's a good fight. I guess Gamrot is just taking a big when you're one of those guys that say, I don't turn down fights, well, this is what happens when you don't turn down fights. You fight guys way behind you. So it's a high risk fight for Gamrot, where even if he looks great, he pretty much stays in the same spot. You know?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But he is ranked 7, so it's not a bad place to be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get to your questions. All right. Oops. Oh. Actually, people have been... Okay, actually, I don't know anything about this. Lazy Bed.
Mike Casey, whoever's in charge on the tech side, I'm desperately begging y'all to update the channel member emojis. You are barking up the wrong tree. I don't even know what that is. So I should probably learn more about our freaking channel.
I need to learn more too. Okay. You know what, Lazy Bed? All right.
Are they like MMA Hour ones? It's got to be, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think those guys started it, and then we never really kind of took over or fixed it. So, my bad. But thank you for bringing that up, Lazy Bed. We will take a look at it.
Should someone do a wellness check on Dana? I feel like he's not been around for a while. # strip Jon Jones. We have not heard from Dana in a minute, but Dana's busy. His bull is doing bull things. I believe he's a new owner of the Form energy drink, First Form or whatever. He's been plugging that up pretty hard. So, guys, we've been telling you for 4 years. He is 50-50 in on the UFC right now. He is there in spirit. He is there in name, and then shows up once in a while when he needs to. So, yeah, that's just who he is right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really for MMA fans who kind of came in with the last 4 or 5 years. Man, I wish you could go back a decade ago and see and just understand how much media, how much more of Dana White we used to get. It is wild. It was too much Dana White back then, and now we're it's just Instagram videos of announcements and occasional Nelk Boys videos. It's such a different place now in terms of what Dana White gives the media and the fans. It's very odd, but it's a new world. It's a new world in the UFC world. Yeah.
Yep. But again, they're making so much money, it doesn't even matter. They don't even have to try.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not we're I don't know. Yeah, does the UFC need? Are we there yet? Where we've kind of always suspected that, but do they need Dana White? Do they need
no
that voice that I'm up here in the front of the press conference. I'm gonna tell you why to watch this fight. Is that even necessary for do they need a replacement for Dana, or is the UFC just the UFC now? You don't need the NFL commissioner going, guys, you got to watch the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Does the UFC even need that anymore?
No, they haven't needed that in forever. John Anik's the one who hosts most of the pre-fight press conferences anyways. So it's not like Dana's at all of them. If they have a Thursday press conference, Dana White is never there. But if they do almost one of those, hey, there's a pay-per-view coming up 2 months later, we're doing a press conference before ceremonial weigh-ins, Dana will be there for that because he's there for ceremonial weigh-ins. So he'll just host that one and be fine with it. And he goes and does the post-fight presser, and that's it. It's good for us having Dana at these post-fight press conferences because Dana usually provides information. Dave Shaw does not, but we can usually figure out a lot of this information on our own without Dana. I would say 50-60% of the announcements he makes, we've already written up for 3 weeks on our website or have already talked about. Not a lot of the stuff he says is breaking news, so we're able to get that stuff. He is important for growing the fan base, I guess, trying to get some new people to watch because of his friendships, his alliances, if you will. And he's obviously good for business in terms of sponsorships and things of that nature. But in terms of him being the promoter, no, they haven't needed him in 5 years. They haven't needed him since the pandemic. He was obviously very crucial because he was all over the place. But from like 20, once the fans were back in, once they got over everything and fans could come back into buildings, they haven't really needed him since then. Because that was a conversation that came up after the New Year's Eve incident when that video went crazy and all that. It's just like, should the UFC get rid of him? And for us, it was just like, if he sat out for 6 months, like, would it matter? Would it make any difference? No, it really wouldn't. So yeah, it would be weird for a while, but the UFC is such a well-oiled machine right now. All they have to do is put out a fight poster and put tickets on sale, and those will sell, whether Dana is making announcements or not. That's just where they're at right now. They cannot be stopped. So they don't need him right now. That's how red hot they are.
Do other promotions, does PFL, does KSW, does the Cage Warriors or whatever, do they need a Dana White, or has the MMA fan base kind of moved past the whole guy yelling at you to watch fights, and why? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just kind of wondering the whole concept of a Dana White, as far as
I love Martin.
Yeah,
I love Martin Lewandowski. I think KSW has been just top notch through all of this. But they also know who they are. When you get an Eddie Hall, Mariusz Pudzianowski, like, the whole world's going to talk about it. And when you don't, you still put on incredible fights that the hardcore fans will watch, and they cater to a specific audience, and they give them exactly what they want every single event. That's why everybody loves KSW. That's why they continue to grow year after year. That's why they're able to sell out 80,000 seat stadiums once every so often when they do these big stadium shows. Like, they do a terrific job. PFL, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have somebody be like, hey, watch these fights. You have Don Davis, who has become sort of the business mind. It's great to talk to him when he comes on these things to, like, answer questions to the best of his ability. But it's just weird the way they're doing it right now, because they have Jonathan Coachman as the face of the organization, but he's also like their pre-fight host for everything. He does all the interviews, like, before the fights. Like, it's super weird for him to be like the face of the company, but he's also like doing all the interviews. Like, you can't wear so many hats. If you're going to be the face of the company, if you're going to be the promoter, if you will. And I know Coach probably doesn't look at himself as like the promoter, but that is essentially the position they have put him in. He's doing the post-fight press conferences. He's answering questions from the media. So let him focus on that. Like, it's just weird having him taking him that seriously in that role when he's doing like 5 other things. I don't know. I guess we've kind of turned the page a little bit, but I think you need someone there to be able to talk about stuff and fallout, aftermath. Like, not having Dana at the 3:15 press conference was ridiculous. Like, that was crazy. With so many questions, even just throw Anik up there. Like, I don't care. Anik at least, like, has things to say about it. He just called it. Bring DC up there. That's cool.
DC. Yeah. That'd be great. Yeah.
Like, yeah. You could have brought Cruz up there. Like, anybody who could talk about what happened from a different perspective. Like, that shit's fun. Like, we love hearing about that. What do you think's going to happen? And they will answer that in the best possible way. But, like, we don't even get that anymore. We get Dave Shaw, who's just like, yeah, international business, baby, and doesn't know anything when it comes to that, or isn't allowed to say anything.
Yeah, just not allowed to say anything. Yeah. Kind of makes it boring, but, here we are.
Yeah. At this point, just go back to the old press conferences that we did after fights. Just put everybody on the freaking stage and do it for 30 minutes and call it a day, man. Like, I miss that.
We're reverting back to that now, which is like, all right, if you won, get up there.
I wish we would. I wish we would revert back to that, and I wish we would revert back to the old media day too, where you could just get like one-on-one interviews. Like,
I missed the old media day. Yeah.
Yeah. What's like? It was like 2 hours, including like setup and breakdown.
Yeah. And you couldn't get everyone. Like, now we get everyone, but everyone has the same thing. That's the problem. Back then we would have, so say there's 10 fighters in that hour. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get 5, but those are 5 of your original videos, original content. That's just you and different from the next guy who got the same interview, maybe asked the same questions, but you're gonna get different answers. So, and yeah, it's just different. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ross.
Yeah, it's a different sport.
Different sport, yeah. Before we jump to the super chats, I just want to throw this one up.
Hey, Dana just announced debut patches on shorts. He's so locked in. No, he didn't. Tops announced that, not Dana.
Wah, wah.
Tops made that announcement.
I was trying to give one to Dana. All right.
Sorry, dude. I can't do it.
Nope. Ah, jeez. Super chats. Last stand.
Could the UFC do a stacked all heavyweight main card today like UFC 146? So that's just surpassed the 13th anniversary of UFC 146.
And the greatest promo they've done. If you watch that promo for the event, it's just unreal. Like, I hate saying it, but back when the UFC tried, and they made a very good promo for that event. But let's bring it up. Let's bring up that card. What was it again? UFC what?
UFC 146. May 26th, 2012.
It's such a good card. So, main event. Yeah. Poster's kind of boring, but if you... I'm not going to bring it...
Saturdays.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But it was a great concept. Just all heavyweights, and they just sold it as, it's big. And that's cool. It worked. Main event. Yeah, main event, Junior Dos Santos, Frank. Was that the original? Was that the original fight? Oh, the original fight was... It was? No, I thought it was supposed to be just... I'm looking at the canceled fights. Overeem was supposed to be in that card, too? That's when Overeem popped? Mirror to time. Was Kane the champ at that time?
Maybe you're right.
I'm trying to remember my history. Can't quite.
Yeah,
remember.
there are a lot of changes to this one.
Yeah, to the main card, but it still remained being 5 fights in the main card, 5 heavyweight fights. Dave Pee Wee Herman was on the main card. Late Shane Del Rosario, the future GOAT Stipe Miocic was on that card. Strikeforce veteran LeVar Johnson on the main card. What would be the... In a dream world where, we could just, it's not going to happen, but what would be your 5-fight main card for all heavyweight pay-per-view? Obviously, we know the main event.
We know the main event, yeah.
Yeah, Jon Jones versus Clive.
Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so assume we get the main event. Assume we get Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, main event. What's your co-main?
I would do Cyril Gane versus Sergey Pavlovich.
Like it.
I would do... God,
yeah.
It's tough hanging out.
It's
there.
Gonna be good. Yeah.
I would run back Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, do that again, rematch. Throw that again on the main card.
Not because we want to, but you gotta put Martin Tybura on there. Martin Tybura has to be on there someone against somebody, just because.
He has to be. Tybura? Waldo Cortez Acosta.
Yeah, that sounds about right. One of those guys.
There's got to be. Yeah,
Ty is definitely got to be on that main card. Yeah, Ty, Derek Lewis makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Can we bring back Rebellis to Spain to fight a striker? That would be fine. We'll do Rebellis to Spain versus Chris Barnett. No, I hate that. Poor Chris Barnett. But at least he would strike.
Yeah.
There's like 30 heavyweights on the roster right now.
Oh yeah,
maybe 35.
Volkov Almeida.
Sure.
Yeah, we gotta have those guys on there. Yeah. And someone else, I don't know.
I don't know.
Ooh, no. Bring back Rebellis versus Alex Pereira heavyweight.
Oh shit.
That's a fun fight.
Okay.
That's a fun, silly fight. All right, there we go. Got it.
That's fun and silly. Yep, you've done it.
All right, yeah. Thank you, Last Stand. That's fun. Super chat from RS40.
Yeah, so I guess like the true answer to the previous question was yes, but we wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be like this, wouldn't have been like Stefan Struve, type thing back then. What do you think of Movsar's comments about the Volk fight? Is Yair getting the shot? Also, is Oralby fighting Tofiq? How do you see that fight going? To answer your second question, yes, Oralby is fighting Tofiq Musayev.
Great signing.
That is a done deal. I spoke to both sides. That is a go. That is happening, and that is going to be fun as hell. Is Yair getting the shot? I don't know. So here's what I could tell you. Here's what I've learned. Movsar and Pico, I don't know. Like I see that being reported. I don't know if it's happening or not. I really don't. Would it surprise me from like conversations that I've had with people who think they know but aren't 100% sure? Would not surprise me if that's the fight they make. I stand on the same side I did before. I love that fight. That fight makes a lot of sense. If Movsar wins, he's going to win in an exciting way. And if he loses, he's going to lose big to a guy that the UFC can develop and turn into somebody pretty popular. So I don't think it hurts them either way. Movsar 1 billion% shouldn't have to fight Aaron Pico or anybody else at this point. He should be fighting for the belt. Having said that, all the reports have been, Volk's fighting Yair on the Mexico card or whatever Noche UFC is. Rumored for Guadalajara. They announced it for Guadalajara. You've obviously, if you guys have been paying attention, you see what's been going on. They keep delaying the opening of the arena. They keep canceling events. They keep pushing things back. There are talks about moving the card back to the US. No decision has been made from what I've been told, but they could go back to Vegas and do it again. They could go somewhere else. I don't really know. But they're saying that, well, because it's Noche, you do Volk versus Yair. So I've reached out to some folks and was asked if that was true, if there was any truth to that. I was told that as of this very moment, reports of that fight being in the works for that card aren't wholly accurate. So don't know what that means. Don't know anything. There is also things that I've seen that I think Volk's having another kid around that same time, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense for him to fight. If his wife is about to give birth to another child at the same time as that fight would happen. So not saying that fight isn't being discussed, but I don't think it's being discussed for that particular card right now. So that's what I could say.
All right.
And it's ridiculous.
If they don't give the title fight to Movsar, who should he fight? Or should he just never fight and do one of those things?
I kind of think he has to fight.
Is Pico the right? Because Pico to me is a great fight, but then at the same time, I can see it being twisted around if he defeats Pico, going, well, you just defeated an unranked fighter. Why should we give you a title fight?
So I was just talking.
That's why it's such a tough fight for Movsar in that sense.
Yeah, and here's the thing that is weird, because I about an hour before we started, I talked to John Anik. You'll see that conversation on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel leading in UFC 360, and we talked about this. And we're trying to remember a champion. And John, this is how John said it. I don't remember a champion laying out a red carpet for a challenger like Volkanovski did for Movsar, and then still Movsar, that challenger, doesn't get the fight. Because all Volk's been saying since he won the belt is like, yeah, I want to fight Movsar. He's the undefeated guy. He's the toughest fight in the division. Like, I want to fight that dude. He's the guy. He's the toughest fight in this division for me. Rolls out the red carpet. Come, Movsar. Come fight me for this championship. And the UFC is just like, no. We're going to make him fight somebody else. But the UFC has not announced anything. We haven't been able to like fully confirm any of this stuff anyways. So I don't know. Maybe cooler heads will prevail, but it's just so weird, man. All because Dana White was pissed off one night in January and didn't know who Movsar Evloev was. He got him confused with the different fight on the card. Like, it's just so frustrating.
What a dumb world. What a dumb world. What a
Yeah.
dumb one. How's this a multi-billion-dollar company? And the guy's like,
The
who's
only
this guy?
Dana White was the only guy on the planet who thought, who said publicly that Movsar Evloev versus Arnold Allen was a boring fight.
Like, what?
And I still think he confused it with something else. Crazy. And because of that, this dude's going to have to fight like 7 more times before he gets a title fight.
I know it would be kind of rude in a sense, but I would love at a press conference where someone just did almost like a man on the street interview of Dana White, like just hold up pictures of UFC fighters, name him, name this guy, and just Dana. Like guys who were like top 15. Insane. But interesting. Orabai, we all love him. He's fighting Tofiq. Tofiq's last loss, who he lost to? His last loss? Top-ranked Alexander Shabliy.
Just how good was Alexander Shabliy is what we could be asking. Does that boost? Will you rank Shabliy higher if Orabai beats Tofiq? Or if Tofiq beats, is there a way Shabliy could get ranked higher?
Yeah, if Tofiq like just rolls through Orabai, then yeah, Shabli's moving up. Yeah, I just got.
All right, fair enough. That fight rules. I'm very excited for that fight.
By the way, it is in my contract. Sorry, just full disclosure, it's in my contract that I have to mention Shabliy during every live broadcast.
Yes, ding. There's the Shabliy counter.
Yes, I get a check. You guys started this. I'm
picking Orabai, by the way, but that fight's gonna rule.
It's a great fight. Thank you much, RS40. What else we got here? A good friend, Forrest Daniels.
If Ilia Topuria gets past Charles Oliveira, then is Paddy the Baddie the next fight to make? Imagine the press conference and face-offs alone. So I'm putting you in the hot seat, Casey. Ilia Topuria, we're jumping in a time machine. We're fast forwarding to June 29th, year of our Lord, 2025. International Fight Week card comes to an end. Jake Paul just beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Crazy times. Are you making Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett next?
When's there's no date for Makhachev JDM, right?
No.
There's no date yet. No, they don't make it. Charles just says he waits. I'm sorry. Topuria he'll wait. Now, if Islam wins, if Islam loses at 170, are we gonna get Topuria versus Islam or Topuria versus Paddy? I bet we get Topuria versus Paddy. This is based on if Islam loses to JDM. I'm betting if Islam loses, that will be the fight, Topuria versus Paddy, just because that makes so much money and makes so much sense price fighting wise. I kind of hate it still, but in terms of business and UFC loves to make money, that is the money fight. So that would be my prediction.
I say yes, regardless. I think Ilia. Yeah, they'll book Ilia and Paddy. You got to do it now. Why you just can't risk it anymore. I would love to see Paddy versus Arman or Paddy versus Gaethje. Like both those are really interesting fights. God, I don't know. Paddy versus Gaethje.
I'm speaking just from making money standpoint. I'm not speaking out of actually who deserves it.
Because a Paddy fight, like if they throw Paddy in there with if they throw Paddy in there with Arman and he loses, then it's just like, okay. Then we kind of like lost its sizzle until like Ilia loses. You know what I mean? Or like loses the belt. I mean, there's still heat, so you can kind of maybe go back to it, but some people will be like, oh, what the hell? Dude's coming off of a loss and you're still giving him a title fight. But I think they will try to make that fight.
All right. Yeah, and if Topuria, if you're Topuria, is that the fight you want though, Paddy?
Yeah, 100%.
So you want it because like you feel like he's the number one contender, or you feel like that's the guy that's gonna make me the most money?
Yes.
Just kind of yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It would be outside of him fighting Islam for a third belt. It's the biggest fight possible for him right now. Would be him and Paddy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. or fighting JDM. I'm doing this based on if Islam loses. So if
I still
Islam
think Patty's bigger than JDM. Yeah, Patty's. Yeah, him and Patty. Even if Islam wins, like sure, if Billy's like, yeah, I'm vacating the lightweight belt and going to welterweight to fight Islam for a third belt, like that's huge, obviously. And that's probably the biggest fight because you can just market it that way. But
no, I don't think Patty's that big or he'll jump. But I get it. I mean, it's an argument.
But Patty,
sure.
Yeah. But like with what's in his division and what's like realistic right now, Patty's like Topuria Gaethje's fun. Topuria Holloway's fun. Like all these are fun. Like we just watched Topuria and Holloway, but Topuria gets anybody at lightweight is really, really fun. Topuria versus Arman's really fun. Like all of these fights are really fun. But Patty is like, that's going to draw the most eyeballs. No doubt about it. Patty's a rising star right now. You got to just ride that wave at this point.
I'm going to be very hypothetical here. So Islam wins. Topuria beats Charles. Topuria vacates 55, challenges at 170. Who's next for the vacant lightweight belt?
Fuck, man.
Is it Patty versus somebody?
It's Patty versus somebody.
What? Patty versus somebody. Okay. Like if Holloway wins or Gaethje.
This is an unpopular opinion. I would do Patty versus Arman. Even though.
Ooh. Okay.
Arman's.
No, that makes sense. It makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense.
But they will go Patty versus Gaethje.
Yeah, I would say so. Patty versus Gaethje, and then we'll see what happens if Holloway beats Dustin. We'll see.
And if Oliveira wins, then like all bets are off.
Who knows? Yeah, dude, that's yeah. I don't even. I'm not. My brain can't get there if Oliveira wins. Dude, imagine this world if Oliveira
get there at some point.
Yeah, at some point it's gonna. Yeah, but if Oliveira wins and JDM wins, just imagine. Just I don't know. It'd be wild. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. All right, more questions. Here we go. Oh, God. Okay, we got to talk about this. Regretfully.
Chandler's back on the Conor thing. I just feel bad at this point. Can't wait for January 26th. Yes, Chandler. Yep, Chandler.
I feel like Chandler's trolling. January 26th.
Could this be? But look, this is could this be like TKO's reveal of Netflix? This is the Netflix fight, the first one.
I did
very WWE of them.
Yeah. Just Conor pointing at the sign, the date.
Pointing at the Netflix sign. I love that. I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Chandler wants to do a swing rounds. So like that would be a very fascinating one to do right now if we can make that happen. So
I did throw out there like a month ago or so that the Jones Aspinall thing, they literally might be just holding that fight until the first fight on the new broadcast deal. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was Chandler Conor that they're just holding in their back pocket for that first fight for whatever the new deal is, be it Netflix, be it whoever. Because obviously, so what was the first fight when they went to Fox, which is a giant deal for everyone watching. The first fight was a free championship fight on network TV between Cain Velasquez and JDS. Insane. A free main event pay-per-view. I can't imagine doing that now. But we are in a different streaming world now, so if it goes to Netflix, who knows? But that's why I feel like the end of the year for the pay-per-views are going to be actually very crappy, because what incentives does UFC have unless they're continuing to sign with ESPN? They stay with ESPN, which I guess everyone has kind of abandoned that ship already. So I think they're going to be like those last 3 months of the year, they're going to be saving a lot of the really good pay-per-views, main events till the first quarter of 2026 for the new broadcast partner.
It's fucking weird because why? You don't need to. Like, you've already proven you can trot anything out there and it'll do well.
But
you know what I mean? So
can do insane. This is a new corporate world. Every quarter has to beat the last quarter, unless you're losing. If you're not, just gaining. So
yeah, because they don't need ratings on ESPN or ESPN Plus. They don't need it. They don't need ratings. They don't need viewership. They don't need pay-per-view buys. They're already getting that money. Like, they get paid to have produce on the channels or the company's networks. JDS Cain Velasquez, the big build on Fox. Guys, heavyweight championship for the baddest man on the planet. They ironed out 2 hours for this event to happen. And it was over in 64 seconds. It was like, oh shit, what do we do to fill time now?
Yeah. That's the mixed martial arts.
Yep. Boy,
But,
a lot of star power in that card in the prelims. Benson Henderson, Clay Guida, Dustin Poirier was on that card. Ricardo Lamas, Cub Swanson on that card.
Was that in Anaheim, right? I think, 'cause I was there. Yeah, Anaheim. Okay,
yeah. We had an accidental headbutt from Robbie Peralta and Mackenzie Semerzier. Bruce Leroy beats Cole Escovedo. Mike Pierce versus Paul Bradley fought on that card. How about that? Damn.
Was it a one fight broadcast?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, because I remember what was the co-main event for that event for the first Fox card?
Benson Henderson, Clay Guida.
Yeah, I remember that being an awesome. That was a really good fight, right?
That was fight of the night. Yeah,
that was fight of the night. That was fight of the night, and everyone kept thinking, "Oh, what a mistake!" Imagine if that would have led in to the main event, then so you didn't have just 30 seconds, of fighting. Yeah, just yeah. Yeah, but UFC
they learned from that mistake.
They learned, yeah. Never do a one fight broadcast card rather, not a one fight card. Yeah. But it's too risky. Might as well throw it. Yeah, I think that's the only time. That might be the only time any promoter in recent history has done a one fight broadcast card. I don't recall that. Has anyone else done that? Like, you pay?
I can't think of one.
Yeah, I can't think of one either. Yeah. But yeah, January 26th. I guess we'll have to wait. Thank you, Adam.
Go.
Let's talk about this.
Love the golf show, Solid Gold. Yes, very fun. Enjoyed it. Casey and Esther knocked it out of the park with the shooting and the production. Derek was everything you expected him to be. Drops the greatest line, the coldest line ever after driving for his golf ball for 15 minutes. After he cheats again, he hits a shitty ass shot, and then he kicks the ball onto the fairway, and then he hits the green. He turns around, looks at the camera, and just calls me a dickhead. Dickhead. So good.
Did you hear that when he said it? Was he too far away when he said that from you?
He was so far away.
Okay, you didn't hear that. So that was just, he basically said it just to himself. Like he wasn't even.
Dude, I didn't even know he cheated. Like, I didn't even know he threw the golf ball, and he was right behind me. I was looking in the direction. I was like, how did I fucking miss that? Like, I didn't know it happened until we watched the first cut of it, and I was like, oh my god! I'm like, he cheated his ass off, and he faked it. He had the ball in his hand. And he goes, because he knew he hit his ball like out of the stadium.
It left. It was in different course. Yeah,
I was like, all right, at best he's in the bunker, and then he's just like, he had the ball, he's gonna throw it. I looked at him, and he puts the ball behind his back, and I turned my back, and he chucks the ball into the green. I'm like, you son of a bitch! I didn't know for 2 weeks. So
he was like one of those. He was like one of those card cheats. He has 4 aces in his sleeve, but he had 6 different golf balls in his pockets. He would just drop it. Oh, there it is! Right.
Drop the ball in the hole for a.
Yeah. He's just trying.
Oh, great shot, Derek!
that was straight in. Ask your camera guy. Yeah, it went straight in.
Oh my god, man! That whole scene of him driving around, I was dying as I was standing there watching him just drive around trying to find this golf ball.
So if you watch it, I cut that down to about 2 minutes. It really was about 8-9 minutes he drove around.
Yeah, it's almost 10 minutes of him
driving
around.
In the real time, it was about 10 minutes. I cut it down to kind of give the impression it was about 10 minutes, but I couldn't just have 10 minutes of him going in circles. I did want to put that little SpongeBob graphic, 10 minutes later or whatever, or something.
I laughed so hard. That was just so much fun, man. Like it was the best. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to Mike Jackson for making that all happen.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Shout out to the clubs at Kingwood and Kingwood Country Club, the Island Course.
It was super. Yeah. Thank you for Kingwood Country Club. I'm just genuinely, that was really nice of them to let us use their course like that and just have free reign on such a just a great golf course. I'm not like a golf dude, but it was cool. It was cool being out there. It's like, this is. I mean, I've been on some like public golf courses. Like, okay, I get it, but this was like, this is nice.
This is legit.
Yeah, it's
legit. Yeah. Fast greens. Their 18th hole is just. Golf Digest, I think, called it the hardest finishing hole in the United States.
Okay, yeah. I was looking at the map. I was like, this looks like a one of those almost like creative golf courses on like some video game that you can just make it up and like, let's just do whatever we want. And that's it. It was very impossible kind of. What was it, par 5? What was it?
Par 5.
Yeah, par 5. Yeah. I think legitimate. What did you get on it? And
I got like a 12. Easily
12 at least, yeah. Yeah, I think if all the...
I hit two balls of water.
Yeah, if we had all the mulligans, I think, Derek probably had around a 15 or so around there.
All the mulligans, Derek shot a 173. He took like 6 balls off the tee, like every hole. Oh, but it was like...
But you went up the first one. You want to go to so the next 5... He shoots like 5 drives and like, I'll take the best one.
Yeah. It was fine. We just thought like we stopped fun, score like the 6th hole. We were just like, all right. After I birdied that par 5, he was like, we were just done keeping score.
He was like, goddamn, all right. Yeah, you got a straight up birdie. That was impressive. It's just a straight up birdie. How many pars did you get? I can't remember. Of the 9 holes, you got like 1 birdie.
2 or 3.
Maybe 2 or 3.
I had like no even with the Vietnamese coffee. Like it was just all adrenaline. I was so tired, man. Like I was so tired, no sleep for 2 straight days after all the flight issues and doing it right after a UFC pay-per-view. So it was tough, but yeah, by like the 7th hole, I had like nothing left, but it was just scramble. I was just scrambling the whole time, but I think I had like 2 pars. I got a birdie, bunch of bogeys. It's a lot of bogey golf.
Yeah.
And then
a couple doubles.
The 6. I had the 6 on the par 3, and then whatever we got on 18 was pretty bad.
There's not even a name for that, right?
Infinity.
Infinity bogey.
Infinity. Yeah, it was tough. It was that 18th hole. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it, please check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. Don't watch it now. Watch it after we're done with this. Swing rounds.
Go watch it. Tell peeps, because all I see is like, everyone's just doing the same content over and over again. You want more of this? Watch it. Tell people to watch it. And if people watch it, then we can do more of them.
Yep.
So there you go. Because I can assure you, like every fighter on the UFC roster would do this. Like pretty much everybody would do it. So, but we got to show them something. We got to show them that we got to give them an ROI. So let's do it.
There you go.
But thank you. Shout out to V Coffee, as we call it here. Coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, that shit. Woo.
I get 1 Vietnamese coffee a week. On Wednesdays, me and Esther go to this little pho place down the street, and I get one, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And start run for walls.
So you feel the same? You feel the same way as I do?
Oh yeah. You just Oh, but the crash is hard though. It crashes. You get
it's
crash.
Brutal.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah,
it's brutal.
And it tastes so good. You're like, this is so good. Because it's not.
And then by the third sip, you're like, There are certain parts like in the first cut where I was I could see how fast I was walking. Like Derek's walking.
Oh no,
and I feel like walking slow. Like I'm just moving so quickly.
Without disrupting behind the scenes, a little without disrupting you and Derek's flow. I was trying to slow you down because you were like, "Let's go." I'm like, "What up, dude?" Like we have a cart and like I got Esther. We have two other cameras going. Like, hold up. You're like, just catch up, Casey. Don't worry. I'll leave little breadcrumbs. Just follow us.
Oh my gosh, that's so
it was
funny.
like that's the crazy part about shooting these. Like people only see the final product, of course, which that's how they're supposed to see. But like it's a journey just to get there and get everything set up, and just. And just okay. Now we're on the clock. It's fun. It's a thing. I wish it was just playing golf, but no, there's so much more that goes into it, and you just kind of hope it comes out natural at the end. But it was a great time. Please watch it. Please watch it, everyone. If you like it, if you watch it, we'll do more of this stuff. If you don't watch it, then we'll just do more press conference videos. But if you guys watch it, we'll do more. Thank you much, everyone. More questions. Here we go. This is a fun one.
Can you name some of your favorite MMA debuts that delivered in the octagon? Not ones you were excited for before the debut, but impressive performances. Not ones we were excited for?
I guess almost like people that we didn't kind of came out of nowhere. This was just tough. I can do the ones we're excited for because I tend not to remember.
I mean, Yuri is the deliverer of debuts.
Yeah. As far as
I assume these are UFC debuts.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, let's go UFC debuts, and I'm assuming kind of debuts in the sense that they kind of came in as a semi-finished product. Not like super prospecty level. What's some great debuts? Yuri. Justin Gaethje.
Oh yeah,
one of the best
that
debuts.
Was great. Joe Lozon.
What was his debut? You're going way back now.
Jens Pulver.
Oh,
on like days notice, and he finished him.
One of the biggest
out of nowhere.
That was considered a giant upset at the time, I assume.
Let me see if I can find the betting.
Or there not even enough people fighting in the world at that time.
Nah, Lozon was he was like a plus 330, so he wasn't
not crazy. More because he was
unknown. Joe had a rep. Joe had a rep from New England, but he just like came out of nowhere and fought Jens Pulver, who at the time was like one of the greatest lightweights ever in the UFC. Yeah. Now he's a Hall of Famer, and Joe freaking knocked him out with a punch in like under a minute. And you know what? You know what that earned him, Casey? Did that earn him a UFC contract?
Oh, geez, no.
No. You want to know? You don't want to know what he had to do after that? He had to go on The Ultimate Fighter after that. Goes and knocks out a lightweight legend for the promotion in under a minute, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, you're going on The Ultimate Fighter," and he went on The Ultimate Fighter season 5.
You know what? Because I wasn't really watching MMA at that time, so I assumed he had won. In my mind, I assumed he had won TUF, and as for winning TUF, they booked him against the legend Jens Pulver, or the future legend at the time, I guess Jens Pulver. But
you make an interesting point. I wonder if they filmed the season before that fight. Because
it was different back then.
The fight was in September of 2006. TUF 5 debuted February of 2007. And, oh God, it's so funny because Jens Pulver was one of the coaches.
Oh yeah,
that's wild. Okay, I don't know.
What's some other big ones that came in just?
I remember Tyson Griffin making his UFC debut, and I was like, dude's really good. Frankie Edgar had a really good debut. I think Frankie Edgar actually beat Tyson Griffin in his UFC debut, if memory serves me correctly. Now I gotta just go through Tapology. Frankie Edgar's UFC debut was Tyson Griffin. Wow.
Oh, I was about to say. You mentioned Tyson Griffin.
Jim Miller, and he beat Jim Miller on the regional scene to get that fight.
All right. Well, thank you, Master Universe. I'm gonna have to think. You
Too
know,
many.
I'm just gonna name random names throughout the rest of the show because I'm just gonna think of it then. Oh yeah, this guy. But yeah, it's fun to think about. Actually, but I want to follow up of this follow up though.
Scott Master's question: who is a fighter who is very hyped that you had high hopes for who flopped?
I have one. I always go to.
Go.
Sengoku featherweight Hatsu Yoki.
Oh, yes.
He came over as a very Sean. I remember Sean Shelby was very excited to bring him over to the UFC, and then he was one of the top featherweights in Japan. He didn't fight. He didn't fight in Dream or Ryzin at the time. He fought in another organization called Sengoku, and he came over to UFC, and I was super excited for him. I thought he would, be a top guy, and yeah, he kind of went like 1-4, never looked that great, and kind of just, and once he left the UFC, he kind of just disappeared in terms of professional fighting. That's yeah.
Will Brooks is probably at the top of the list.
Did he flop, or did the UFC just not want him? Because it's kind of two different things.
1-4.
I feel like, I don't know. I gotta. All right, I gotta look at that one again. But Will Brooks is one of them.
He was 1-3. He was 1-3 in the UFC. He won his debut against Ross Pearson, then he got finished in 3 straight fights after that.
Yeah, he lost to Olives. Yeah, the Nick Lentz one.
Both Olives and Nick Lentz, and then he was done.
Yeah.
But after everything he did for Bellator to be like, all right, F it, we'd rather just send you to the UFC, and then he was gone in 4 fights. But he should have been on that comeback season of The Ultimate Fighter. They missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, I never understood that one. Yeah. That's one of those rematches, the rematches we never got that I wanted to see in the UFC, and that's a stupid one that I've always wanted to see Chandler Brooks 3 again. Because Brooks was 2-0, right? He was 2-0 against Chandler, correct? He beat him both times.
You beat him both times, yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just recall it. Yeah, that's still just one of those wild, doesn't make sense type of kind of looking at Tapology records. Will Brooks 2 wins over Michael Chandler in Michael Chandler's prime, mind you, and then kind of just sputtered his way the rest of his career for various reasons.
Yeah.
Any other giant disappointments that you just had? I'm trying to. Hatiogi is because you always have Jed has that.
Anthony Pettis had a good career. Pettis had a good career, but maybe not as good as people thought it would be.
He won the belt.
He came over. He did.
He won the belt.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. He might not be an all-time great, but he was a great fighter. I don't know if that makes sense.
Because I'm trying to it's tough to decipher what's a flop from big hype to a guy who got hype and then just fell apart. Is Brandon Thatch that guy?
I guess we always have to. I think Brandon Thatches, Eric Silva's, those type of guys who just kind of
Roger Huerta, guys like that.
Guys, and they had great performances. You look on the resume, especially early, they had great fights. Like Roger Huerta versus, I think I saw this on Twitter. People were talking about Roger Huerta. Who is this guy? It's kind of forgotten guy was supposed to be this great fighter because he was the guy that covered Sports Illustrated. His fight versus Clay Guida was one of those fights. It's those handful of fights that made me a fan. And Roger Huerta's you could call one of those guys that but a lot of time that hype it's just because of maybe their fighting style and their look, not necessarily how good they are. So it's a bit unfair to Roger Huerta, to put that all on him, because it's not like he was claiming to be the greatest ever. He was just a guy just trying to make a living, who just looked really good coming off the bus.
Broadcast duties for this weekend. No questions about Saturday's card. Brendan Fitzgerald, Daniel Cormier, Loris Senko.
Yeah. Oh, no question about this weekend's card. I beg to differ.
Michael Mustache, if Erin loses, what's her chance of getting back to a title, in your opinion? Will be pretty steep climb for her with a loss to Manna and Maycee, even with the Rose win in between. Yeah. Yes. Be a very steep climb.
Just because she's not good on the mic. She's not good at interviews.
That's
That's basically it. Maycee, if she loses, sorry, I don't want to jump in front of you, but Maycee can talk. Maycee's not afraid to just say those things, you know. And Erin's, you know, as much trash talk she got, it's just like maybe Maycee might not show up, and then Maycee just runs with that and like triples the trash talk on top of that trash talk. So Erin's just not that person, and unfortunately, she's not like a knockout queen. So, you know, it's gonna be tough for Erin. Even though I think I still believe in Erin. I'm still on the Erin Blanchfield bandwagon. She's still young. I think she's still getting better. I still believe she is I'm not gonna say future champ, but she's a future title contender who can be a champ.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously was incredibly high on her when she came into the UFC, and I was obviously incredibly high on her with a lot of the wins that she's had along the way. But
dominant ones, yeah.
The Manon Fiorot fight gave me cause for pause. Gave me a little bit of concern. I was just like, yeah, she's good, but I don't know if she's gonna win the belt, man. She's got holes. She's got glaring holes. And she is young and she can close some of those gaps, but she's just fighting at the top of this division all the time now. Like there's no going back to like, you know, rework the holds. You're just, every fight is a banger. Every fight's a tough test. Like she loses to Man and they throw her in there with Rose. And a lot of people thought Rose won that fight. Maycee being one of them thought Rose won that fight against Erin. I scored for Erin. It was super close, but I did score for Erin.
I will kind of criticize Barber real quick. I think it's pretty bad prize fighting to say, "Oh, I'm fighting someone that should be coming off a loss." You know, you're not really building up your opponent. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Hey, but she's speaking her truth, so.
It's a big opportunity for Maycee, man. Theirs is like,
it's
she could just ruin everything for a lot of people. If she goes out there and just beats the hell out of Erin Blanchfield, she stops Erin Blanchfield on Saturday, she jumps in front of Natty Ice, in my opinion. I think she will.
Oh, without a doubt. And we know Natty Ice is great, but her fighting style is kind of she's kind of like a more exciting Tisha Torres in a sense. You know, she stays on the outside and pops you from the outside. Natty's got, I think, a little more power, a little more, I don't know, a little more exciting to watch than Tisha Torres. But at the highest levels, Natty Ice her kind of circular movement, it's going to be hard for her to get kind of big finishes against the high level opponents. But she's clearly very good, Maycee. But it's just, she's a banger, and we know Dana White loves her style, and she's not afraid to kind of say whatever she wants on the mic, which is good for us, good for fans, you know, good for the promotion. So
she's vicious in there, man. I was cage side for the Amanda Hebus fight. Jesus, she beat the soul out of Amanda Hebus. That was crazy.
And I think Maycee's like one of those fighters, like when people kind of say like oh, I love women's fights and stuff. I think a lot of times like they love the way like someone like Maycee Barber fights, because she fights with so much emotion. Like you see her rage when she's fighting, and I think that really carries over to fans when you watch. And I think that's why people are kind of still fascinated by kind of the Maycee Barber kind of UFC career, and that's why we're always kind of interested in her fights. I feel.
Yeah. I always wondered what her career would look like in the eyes of the fans if she didn't fight Roxanne Modafferi.
That was such a bad night for her.
Very bad night for her. She talked a lot of greasiness and then lost, and she got hurt in that fight, which didn't help because she was legitimately hurt in that fight, like tore ACL like in seconds, but she talked so much shit that people were like against
the nicest person in the sport.
Yeah.
You were talking shit against basically the female equivalent to like Wonder Boy, you know, in the sense of like, how can you hate her? She's just so nice, you know. It's Roxy, you know, and she was like, I'm gonna smash.
And then she was out for a while. And then was the Miranda Maverick fight the next one?
I don't remember,
because a lot of people thought she lost that fight.
Oh, I remember it was, and I definitely thought she lost that fight. Yeah.
And then there was what else? Because there was a couple. There were a couple ones. The Andrea Lee one, I thought.
Oh, speaking of maybe potential
I
flops.
thought she lost. I actually thought she lost the Andrea Lee fight.
Yeah.
But
and which is why we kind of put a little asterisk on Andrea Lee's like really horrible losing streak. I mean, now Andrea Lee's just really she's just not top tier anymore. But at that point, we're like, oh man, there were some losses Andrea Lee had that really weren't losses. But I remember that was one too.
Yeah.
Oh man, going back a question talking about guys we had or women we had super high potential for it turned out to be flops. Potentially Miranda Maverick. I had Erin Blanchfield and Miranda Maverick kind of on the same level coming out of Invicta. Erin Blanchfield won when they fought head to head, but I still thought eventually Miranda Maverick would be right up there in the top 5 position. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but Miranda Maverick has who's she fighting soon? I know she has Rose. That's it. So Miranda Maverick is still right there. I think the UFC still believes in her by giving her someone like Rose, but yeah. I remember.
I mean, her losses were to Maycee Barber, which almost unanimously people thought Miranda won that fight at the time. Then lost to Erin Blanchfield, and then lost to Jasmine Jasudavicius in Canada.
Okay.
And that's it, man. She's won all of her fights since then. She's 6-1 in her last 7. She's won 4 in a row. And now she's fighting Rose Namajunas in Atlanta in 2 weeks. So,
man, Rose is getting some tough fights, and they don't give Rose an easy night ever. Jeez.
Yeah, jeez.
You
got the Cortez fight, and that's not an easy fight, but compared to what Maycee Barber would have been, that was a little bit of a step down. So, yeah.
Was Cortez a late notice? Was that the original booking? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That was the original booking.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's take 2 more.
Take a couple more.
Yeah, take a couple more.
Yep.
Super chat. Here we go.
OKC, KFC, UFC, Thunder. Also back in Klein unanimous decision. Thunder in 5. By the way, I cannot wait to watch Indiana just put the pin in the Knicks. Oh. I've been enjoying this series so much. Game 3 kind of stunk because Indiana was just putting the boots to them, and I was enjoying myself so much. And then they lost the game, and I'm like, oh god, like this is the type of loss that could like turn an entire series around. And then Indiana comes back and does it back to them the next night, and now it's over. It's all over. And I told you.
Is it 3-1 right now? Is it 3-1 or is it
3-1 Indiana? It's about to be over in 5. Man. And I told you. I just told you. Too much emotional dump on an Eastern Conference semifinal series. Like, it's great you beat the Celtics. Congratulations. But guess what? And when it all comes down to it, when we begin the 2026 season, no one will care that you beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
A very injured Celtics.
So, I mean, I'm not going to use that excuse, although
it's an excuse. Hey, that's
a little bit, but they were.
They
lost. I mean, they were losing almost all of the minutes that they lost. They're about to go down 3-1, even if Tatum didn't get hurt. So, I mean, you never know. You never know, but I can't.
Fair.
I can't really use that as an excuse. But
doesn't it feel good?
I ain't mad about it.
As a sports fan, doesn't it feel good sometimes to? It's fun when your team wins, but sometimes it's even more fun when the other team loses. Like sometimes, it's a different feeling.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole. That's it. Look, I actually played golf. Me and my kid played golf the other morning with a guy who's from New York, used to be a Knicks fan, became a Celtics fan, had a Celtics towel on his golf bag, from New York, grew up a Knicks fan because of the fan base. And this is, I shit you not, he turned to become a Celtics fan. It's the only Boston team he likes. And he's like diehard Indiana, like hopes Indiana beats the Knicks. We got along great playing golf. It was fantastic. So,
all right, one more super chat. Oh wow,
Terrence, I plan on going New Year's Eve Ryzin event this year. Sick. What events or things must I do in Japan? It will be my first time there, Mike. Any dream event you want to go to? I'll answer this quick, and then I'll let you give your advice because you've been to the Ryzin New Year's Eve card on several occasions.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them. Yep.
Dream event. I mean, I don't care. Like, if someone was like, "Do you want the full Super Bowl experience?" Like, I would go check it out. I'd like to go to like a WrestleMania now just to see what it's like. I would like to go cover a Mania and just go through that whole thing. For MMA, it's probably Ryzen or a KSW like super stadium show. Or maybe I might even throw good old Octagon up in there now, the way they're doing their stadium shows too. Like those just like fun environments, like with like true fight fans who just like MMA, and it's no one's booing anybody or wooing in all the fights. Like that's kind of the shit I'd like to go to. But as a pro of the New Year's Eve Ryzen cards, Casey, what should Terrence do?
Firstly, Terrence, get there very early. Get there before the first fights begin because you want to make sure this isn't like a UFC event where you might miss a prelim or whatever. You want to get there very beginning because the very beginning they're gonna have the opening ceremonies, which are just the coolest thing ever. Make sure you see the opening ceremonies. Make sure you get to experience it. This is the cool part. This is why you want to get there early because I'm assuming this is gonna be at Saitama. In the stadiums in Japan, you can bring in your own food. So there are lots of convenience stores right outside the arena. Fill your bag up with cheap sandwiches, some cheap drinks, put them in your bag, and go inside. And just you'll have a great, affordable time, and it would just be an incredible experience. So just get there very early, and take if you're in Tokyo, it takes about 45 minutes to get out to the arena, but it's a simple train. You just jump on the train. It's pretty simple, and just get there early, and you will have a fantastic time. And also, during the intermissions, to my surprise, there were like J-pop girl bands playing outside in the kind of the open concourse area. So like, there's so much like entertainment going on around the fights too. So get there early, enjoy it all. The only thing that might kind of hurt your wallet is the merch. The merch is expensive, but it's really good quality. And in terms of just things to do in Japan, nothing is bad. Just experience it. And don't be a dick. Don't be a bad tourist. Be a good visitor and respect the culture, respect the people there, and you'll have a great time. That's about it.
Sound advice.
Enjoy it. Oh, real quick, before we get out of here,
Mike and Casey, what are your thoughts on ESPN removing the UFC library?
People were saying that. I saw this on Twitter too.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Did I make a concerned effort to try to see if that's true? No. Maybe we'll do it live. Maybe we'll take a look at it.
What does this mean? That sucks too, because I do not have UFC Fight Pass. Because if you want to go see old fights, you have to go to UFC Fight Pass or find them through other nefarious ways. But
I have Fight Pass. I can't quit on it. I just can't quit on Fight Pass.
I mean, because we work in the industry, it makes sense for us. But I mean, I think for average, 99.9% of the fans, are you getting Fight Pass just to watch old fights and local promotions? I'm not sure. How much is Fight Pass a month now?
$9.99.
Yeah, man, all those subscription fees add up.
All right, I'm looking here. I'm searching for UFC 300. No. Just one clip of Diego Lopez finishing Sadiq Youssef. There's a countdown show and a Road to UFC 300 preview special. That's it.
See, that's kind of to me. That's kind of
Why?
That's kind of bullcrap. I mean, like you pay money for ESPN Plus to watch, the catalog of fights. I would think. I mean, that's why I thought I had ESPN Plus where I could watch old pay-per-views and old fights. But no.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and
I don't know why.
And to do this now, not at the end of the contract. Why do it now? Yeah. I got questions. I got questions. I need
know.
answers. Get the fans. Fans need answers. But
we all need answers. Yeah, it's super weird. If you're trying to keep the UFC, it doesn't sound like a great way to keep them. Is this a UFC call to get more people to get Fight Pass? Perhaps. I don't know.
To me, this sounds like it's not the nail in the coffin, but like it sounds like they're tapping those nails as far as the ESPN, as far as killing that ESPN deal. You know, we all assumed it was not going to stay around anyway, but by them taking this away right now so early.
Yeah, I honestly wish like I had insight and like could know what it means, because I truly have no idea. But at the same time, like, does the UFC even care? Okay, cool. We'll just put them all in Fight Pass, and like people can pay us all the money for our platform to go watch old fights, which is they should have probably done to begin with. Just like kept everything there, and they probably did, if we're being honest. So yeah, I don't know. Super weird. That it?
That's it.
All right. Sound the music. We're out of here. Appreciate all of you. You're all the best. And we will be back tomorrow. Preview show. I believe it's going to be the great AK Lee and Jed Meshew getting ready for UFC Vegas 107. And then all the weekend programming heading into and out of a big event at the world's most famous Apex. We'll have People's Pre-Fight Show, a post-fight show, on to the next one. And then to be on the road to Newark, New Jersey for UFC 316. Get excited. For KCI and Mike Heck, thank you for watching. Back next week. We're out of here.
This has been Between the Links, a Vox Media production. I'm Mr. Lynn. Nailed it.